think it's time to move on to this week's rant.
Yes. What are we ranting about?
All right. It's time to yell at DJI. I think most people will enjoy us doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Mads Tech has released a video kind of summarizing our history with canvas mode on DJI and a little bit of the drama that surrounded Caddx encryption that we've talked about here previously. And then is putting a new call out to say, listen, guys, where's this canvas mode? What's the status? Caddx said it's happening. We haven't heard anything for a while now. Like, is this real? Is it, that sort of thing. So, I think we're asking the same thing. Like, look, where is it?
Yeah.
Stop making shit up if it's not going to come. Mads Tech points out here, and he doesn't go too much into it, but I think most people who are watching and paying attention would know that right around the time he got upset about Caddx's encryption, they decided to toss in the fact that they were adding canvas mode to sort of appease people, I think, at the time.
Right.
And the question is, was that really an appeasement, or was that them trying to push something forward? So
the timing certainly was suspicious, right? When everybody was kind of mad at them for saying they were going to encrypt their cameras and lock RunCam out. They were like, oh, we changed our mind. We're not going to do that. Oh, and canvas mode's coming. Well, we want it because Betaflight OSD, with the canvas mode, in case anybody doesn't know, would give us the full Betaflight OSD in the DJI goggles. No, this one isn't supported. LQ isn't supported. And as by the way, we have to acknowledge SharkBite supported canvas mode for a while now. So
yeah,
get with it, DJI.
Yeah, and it's also important to point out, Caddx talks about in their previews, like, we are working on this solution. However, from everything we know, internal and external sources, I think most of us are at this point, I would say I'm 98.5% sure Caddx has no input on the firmware. They basically are just emailing an engineering department or talking to some guy on the phone, and they say, here's what we want, and then DJI does all the work for that firmware.
Especially because now RunCam also is making the RunCam Link VTX, which is the same damn VTX. Obviously, if Caddx was actually the one developing the firmware, then there would be divergence between the Caddx and the RunCam VTXs, which clearly that is not going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that DJI, as much as DJI is kind of letting Caddx and RunCam serve the FPV market, and DJI's like, nah, we don't want to slum with those guys anymore. I don't think they're going to allow that to happen.
No.
I don't see it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think what we ended up getting was Caddx going, yeah, we'll do it. And then, Mads Tech talks about in this video, he, Caddx reached out to him and said, hey, can you send us what you have on canvas mode? We don't know what canvas mode is really. Can you let us know what it is and tell us what we need to do? Mm-hmm. And so they got that info from him, and then he sent them over to another person, one of the Ardu copter devs, I believe. He sent them a whole bunch more info on canvas mode, and then that's the last we heard. So unfortunately, I think it's very possible that Caddx was like, here's a bunch of info, make canvas mode. And that was the extent of the conversation with DJI. But, we can only hope that something else is going to happen,
Chibi Kaiju asks, is canvas mode so difficult to implement? Well, I don't see what the hurdles are. Right. It's just development time. It's just code. Look, I've seen code. It's just a bunch of letters and lines, and there's some curly brackets and stuff. Like, I can do that. Hang on. Look. Here's the thing, guys.
Haven't seen this one in a while.
See, look, I'm doing it right now. It's not that hard. Okay.
So for those of you
I'm right in canvas mode. Go ahead, Blunty.
So for those of you that don't know, canvas mode is essentially the ability to there's a couple of different implementations, I believe. One is that the software could essentially pass over any strings that need to be put somewhere. And then it can pass over all the strings with the data, and those can go wherever on the goggles, right, as orientation. So basically OSD, like Betaflight could do, it can just put stuff wherever it wants it. But the other version of canvas mode, the deeper version that I think most of us want as well, is that pixel control. So essentially, like, the software could say, hey, draw a pixel here, but not here. So you could put images or text or full OSD control, like slider control in Betaflight, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that would be really cool to have from the OSD. So again, I don't think we're asking for that much. It is, like you said, just code. We saw what you did.
I mean, Chibi Kaiju says, honestly, I'm wondering what goes into developing it. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how, but I imagine, Like if you said, well, we're just going to make this one tiny change, right? Canvas mode is a whole thing, right? There's a lot to it, right? And on the one hand, what's this? You're just drawing pixels on screen. Okay, but you're fitting that into the data stream in a way. There's the interface, there's the MSP interface between the VTX and the flight controller. Then you have to carry that data over to the VTX, to the camera. Like I would say it's a non-trivial feature to implement.
Yeah, the main concern I've seen is just like how much room did they pre-assign for the spot for the OSD in that transmission? You know, because if they were planning on getting this amount of OSD info and now they're getting a whole bunch more, maybe there's some limit to that buffer or how much they can shove in there. So
yeah.
Again,
so it may require some reshuffling of the air protocol. And, you know, surely DJI implements, I would guess they implement a generic digital data stream over the air, and they can slice that up any way they want. So if they say they've got 50 megabits per second per video, and then like the DJI FPV drone has an audio stream, it feels like there should be enough bits there to carry the OSD information, but they have to actually sort of make that happen. And it's not just like, oh yeah, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we want it. We know they can do it. It's just a matter of getting them to decide to do it. And with DJI, sometimes that's just a matter of getting like, you just have to shout at them long enough that the right person hears you. Oh, what's that sound from down there? Oh, yeah, we can do that. Guys, go do it. But it takes a while.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see Canvas mode.
Yeah.
We can hope. DJI, get on it.
Locrian says it's a matter of resourcing. They don't think it's a priority. Locrian, I have to say, DJI is an incomprehensibly large organization. I can't tell you how many times, okay, it's like 2 times, but that's more than you'd think. I can't tell you how many times I have finally talked to the one person in DJI who actually is the person who can make something happen. And they go, oh yeah, we could do that. No, that makes sense. We'll do that. And I'm like, well, we've been asking for it for a year. And he's like, oh, I just didn't know. And you're like, how did you not know? And he's like, you know, we've just been shouting at the wrong people because all we see are sort of marketing people and social media people. And then when you finally get an engineer on who can make a decision, they just do it. So that's what I'm guessing is going on. All right.